we should probably lock in. Jessica Boyle said, sorry, she's not pretty like my ex-crushes, and I said, I'm not complaining. All right. Lock in. Based on it getting brought up in a Zachary Michael stream. I gotta stop starting videos with Rouge the Bat fan art on the screen. It got mentioned in Zachary Michael's stream, something about a waifu mansion. So I wanted to look into that. Oh, content curator. The content curator, Maya, provided a link to a video, and I pulled up a couple of links here as well. So we're gonna go over. I'm gonna learn as we go here, and hopefully we can all kind of get a better idea of what the waifu mansion is about. Tobin Jacobs is this has got to be an AI review or something, is an artist based in San Diego, California. They create large two-dimensional cutouts, including one of Iron Mouse, Twitch streamer that's nearly twice the size of the subject. Oh, there's didn't realize Iron Mouse had a size. Jacobs stores their work at home, where the flat cutouts can be folded and stacked like okay, cool. Don't need to get too into that. And you know what's messed up? I kind of remember this. I feel like this became a thing maybe like a year or two ago, that people were like very fascinated. I don't know if there's some kind of like news report that came out on this person, popped up on TikTok. That's probably it. So probably something like that. Probably some quarantine ass fixation happened at some point, and everyone was just checking up on this person. Tobin Jacobs, child of Jim Jacobs, I'm finding out. American actor, composer, lyricist, writer for theater, long associated with the Chicago theater scene. Jacobs best known for creating the book, storyline, characters, and lyrics for the 1971 musical Grease with Warren Casey. Who tried to say Jimbo? You cannot say Jimbo. I'll allow it once. You're going to be an example. You cannot say that. You can't say Jimmy Neutron. Okay. Now we all know. Never mention Jimmy Neutron here, especially not his dad. Anyway, so yeah, the Grease musical creators offspring has a mansion full of paper cutout waifus, it would seem. I guess they're an artist. So we're gonna check in on this. There's some videos. They have a YouTube channel. And now, so I have to specify, this is the Grease Air waifu mansion. This is not the greased up waifu mansion. So don't get too excited. It's the Grease Air waifu mansion. Anyway, sorry for that one. This is a video of Maya linked, and I have the whole YouTube channel here. I make giant paper craft things, mostly giant cutouts of anime or things from video games. Generally, I'm always trying to improve the scope and size of what I make. So sometimes I may take time off to learn. I love this. If I had infinite Grease money, I would definitely just work on big projects of absolute nonsense to fulfill my life. Greasy hair waifu mansion. All right, well now we're getting. Anyway, does anyone find this weird? Anyone find this hobby weird? Because I certainly don't. But let's look into it. I don't know. Maybe they're a sicko or something. Let's find out. Why I make my art.
On all my social media accounts, many people are confused with the giant paper art I make, with one question surfacing the most, that being why, or why are you doing this? And therefore, I'm going to explain why I make these massive cutouts.
Okay, that is obscenely large. That is much larger than the garage. And you know what? Why not? Why not, right?
Alongside Anime Girl, Insane Asylums, and anything else I make. This video is going to be the...
Who knows what I could accomplish with Wilhelmina or my cool dragon guy if I just had all the time and resources.
most candid video I've ever made, as I talk about my philosophy on being yourself
Okay, you know what? That is a lot of giant waifus.
and clarify what I get out of it and my vision is in the future. But first, I'll talk about the more obvious point, which is that I find what I make cool.
I gotta say, surprisingly, and you wouldn't expect this, I'm not seeing like a bunch of like, say, life-size dolls that would like start getting like pretty concerning. Like, I'm not saying that they don't exist somewhere in this house, but like, you know, like you hear something about this and you'd assume like, oh, it's of course a large collection of weird sex
Really,
things.
the type of content I make is the type of content I would want to see if I wasn't myself.
Seems like they're fairly respectful.
Like, the idea of giant anime cutouts existing is so cool to me. I personally like the field of
true.
craft I'm in, especially since it's so
You know, this I would go to an expo. I would go to like an art showing.
surreal, since, like, rather than looking at something like a drawing or a painting or even playing a video game and seeing the world it portrays through a screen, with some of the things that I make, it's almost like you're instead in that world and someone grabbed you through the screen and pulled you in. And that part I really enjoy about what
Okay, see, I love immersion.
I make.
Absolutely.
Like, some of the rooms that I've made look straight up like you're in a game walking through a map with a modded texture, or it feels like I'm
Sure.
looking at a real
Did we need giant cutout of Dream? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I vibe with
like
that.
X-Bot. So overall, like, the feeling of surreality I get from what I make is all very
That's
cool.
that's probably the worst. That's the most offensive thing I've seen so far.
As it's like I have my
Okay, very interesting to just have a ton of the exact same thing also.
own little mutant
Why do you have a fucking random Shane Dawson face?
museum, and that's really the value that I get out of it and why I do it. The second reason is because I'm a content creator. I want to make better things than what I'm doing currently.
I don't know who this
Some of my
is.
creative goals I have currently is to make a cutout
Oh my.
that's over 100 feet standing, to create giant 30-foot tall paper models just
Oh my god, this one's three-dimensional.
like this, but upscaled. And yes,
That is a feat. Wow. That like some massive
the
origami
giant
thing.
cutout of Speedwagon that I've been planning for like 2 years now. So I do what I do because I have ambitions to make cooler things by growing on social media.
Is there like a frozen body trapped in there?
Yeah, I bring this up as one of my points because I do think that a lot of people think I'm just doing this for laughs and giggles, and while that is true, my goal also in the future is to have what I make be able
I also mean this, and like people think what I do for no good reason or plan to use what I make.
to pay for a lot of the bigger projects I want to make in the future. Whether it's more paper stuff or even like a game eventually I want to make years down the line. But I think
Now, do you think they just pull like transparent PNGs off the internet and just blow it up in a big ass printer? You think that's the move?
because of how strange and unhinged the stuff I
I don't
make
know any of
looks,
these
it's hard to
characters.
imagine that I have aspirations as I feel
Oh, okay. We got giant buff ass Reggie Fils-Aimé. Reggie Fils-Aimé's head on probably like a WWE wrestler body or something. That's pretty cool.
people think I'm just mentally deranged and that's all, which I can't really blame considering if you look at this picture, I do not think this is what a normal sane person's house looks like.
I mean, at least it's clean. Like if these were like half of them were like ripped and just like pasted onto the wall, I would probably be more concerned. But like there was a design choice here.
But the third reason is just my philosophy on being yourself. I post the things that I do because
I don't know who that is, but they're holding a phone showing a screenshot of Hatsune Miku, the first character I've recognized so far.
I simply want to, and
Okay, I can dig the life-size cutout holding a sign with your handle on it.
I'm not really afraid to showcase a side of myself which could be seen as embarrassing, as not posting these things would mean people not knowing who I truly am, and doing that is exhausting,
this is sick.
being something that you're not, and never letting your
Bird's eye
creative
view.
urges out. As it's just very freeing, as I feel many people are scared of looking weird by being who they really are, and when you
So
do that, your
true.
soul
So true. This is tugging at my heartstrings.
suffers as you're not living the way that your heart wants to be. Why I also do my art is because I like
Okay, you know what? I am vibing with this.
genuineness. All the
an
posts that I
extent.
make in a way can be seen as vulnerable, as it's easy to make fun of what I post. However,
Sure.
showcasing this side of me is also what makes me
Okay. Now that is an alarming amount.
Me feel alive as I'm no longer hiding my true self, and therefore can be much more candid with people I meet,
Who is this? Who is this person?
as chances are they will or already know that I'm a crazy
Like, oh, okay.
art waifu person, and
Okay. Pink guy reference.
don't have
Okay.
to pretend that I don't do strange things or think, what if they think of me
Oh,
differently?
okay. A Majora's Mask
than they do
enjoyer.
when talking
That's
to
good.
someone.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's the creepy pasta, Majora's Mask story. Never mind.
And therefore, it's good because, like, it's more of a genuine interaction. If they know more who I truly am,
Need
I
a 4x life-size
don't
Wilhelmina?
have to put up a facade.
Maybe
as
someday.
It's really hard to have a moment feel meaningful if you're being fake and not speaking with your heart and
Is this a tennis court I'm looking at? Or like a pickleball arena or something?
being honest.
Oh, I see a basketball hoop.
Now, of course, I wouldn't go to an In-N-Out drive-thru and say, before you talk to me, it's a requirement that you know the existence of the Hololive room and what a deranged anime nutjob I am, or else this conversation is meaningless.
But would it be so wrong if you did?
But for the type of people you see more often, I'm
What is this?
the type who likes being open and dislikes small talk when it's not really needed, so it helps in being yourself. So in summary, I like making what I make just because I can't be anyone else other than me, and enjoy what I make because it's cool, and have
Maybe someday they'll make a big cutout of me.
long-term goals to make even
I
cooler
have
things in the
dreams and
future via making
aspirations.
stuff currently to be able to fund
Okay,
my
now that's a lot.
future ideas, but that's pretty much it. Goodbye then.
If you knock one down, do they all fall? Was that the hot Internet
Hyrule
Explorer
Castle
avatar
Town.
Microsoft made then pulled because people started sexualizing her immediately? Oh, I heard something about
On
that.
all my social media accounts, many
Anyway, what's the most popular video? I started a religion based off my waifu. Okay, now that's a bit different. That's a bit different now. Let's look into this. Let's unpack that. I don't want to be in the same room as
I love
Dream,
my
but
waifus.
oh wow. Oh wow, this took a turn. Hold on.
I love my waifu Sayaka Maizono. We've gone everywhere, to a zoo, in a limo, multiple times to the mall, movie theater, ocean, pool, restaurants, and all of the above.
And why not? And why not? Right?
I may be her most dedicated fan, as it's a deep rabbit hole as...
You know, one of King Cobra JFS's our first big breakout moments was his videos on why it would be acceptable to have a sex doll girlfriend. So this comparatively seems very tame.
Alongside that, I also have an RC car so she can move around with me if I want. All my consoles are covered with her.
She's mobile. Okay. There, I see a GameCube and some maybe 3DSs. That's a bonus. I see the big ass PS3. Okay. Sayaka Maizono dating simulator on a bunch of is that actually a PS3 game?
Alongside all
Okay,
my
the focus, the acute focus on this one thing is
covers, which
is
I
a lot.
replace. I follow over 200 Maizono accounts, which is currently half the people I follow. Covers, which I replace. I follow over 200 Maizono accounts, which is currently half the people I follow on Twitter.
And why not, right?
I have over $500 in commissioned artwork, some of us together. I also
And why not? Live your truth.
have medieval chainmail with all the push button.
How many more levels to this are there? That you made armor out of buttons.
Pins that I've collected of her, which goes together with a sword and shield, which is entirely made out of her. But
That's how I'd like to go out. Just kill me with that sword.
most importantly, I've turned my house into a church for Maizono, and this is what the outside of my house looks like. Besides advertising the church in the front of my driveway, I also have multiple billboards outside also advertising it for
You put out billboards in front of the house, too.
people driving by. My house is a legitimate place of worship, though, as when you walk in, you'll see a choir of Sayakas, alongside an 18-foot
Yep.
tall mural. Then if you go upstairs, you can see the truly special part, which is the walls and rooms of Sayaka Maizono, as seen here. And
I see you've honed in on a subject at
have
this
gone
point.
as far as putting pages on the ceiling. Then when you come upstairs, you'll see that the floor is completely covered with pages and extends all the way to this mini hallway. But the truly special part is this room right here.
I think we need to look into like some flame retardant printer paper at this point and ink,
Which is
because I'm getting concerned.
the most decorated part inside of the house. Nothing is covered and is the pinnacle of the Holy Land. Generally,
All right, where's the not safe for work room?
for
Come
the rest
on,
of the rooms
come on, come on.
upstairs
Where
are
is
all
it?
very similar, including my room and the 2 separate bathrooms I
Can I see
rest
your
of the
room?
rooms upstairs are all very similar, including my room.
Okay, I think you deserve like a headboard. You know, do something for yourself. Like I know you want to, devote the entire house to your waifu, but like I think you deserve to like have like a headboard on your bed.
And
Window, yeah, the window is covered. That's a good point. That you can no longer see sunlight or the outside world.
the 2 separate bathrooms I have upstairs. If you were wondering how I did this, they were all printed with my 10 photo printers, which are also Sayaka Maizono.
Ah,
Now, of course, being concerned
even the printers are
about
themed.
robbers is a problem, which is why I also have custom Maizono boomsticks, which include a revolver, a rifle, an army knife, blessed ammo, which I all keep for
Blessed ammo.
myself, but also have an entire Sayaka Maizono militia, which I call the Waifu Warriors in order to
It's like that tomb. It's like that tomb with all the clay soldiers.
guard my house, and also the giant monuments that I've built, which include a 25-foot tall cutout of her, 10 20-foot tall cutouts of her, 2 30-foot tall cutouts of her, and 1 cutout the size of half a tennis court. I love my waifu.
That was it. That was that video. Come on. Where's the explicit room? I know there's gotta be one, right? Where is it? Where's that wing of the mansion? Why I'm so unashamedly myself, I would love to know. How starting a waifu church made me go viral.
After
I
this,
think I can understand why.
there may be nothing for eternity. This will never happen again. You will never be conscious again in the history of anything. So
Sure.
it's like, do I really want to waste my life not doing what I want? In 7 billion years, none of this is going to be remembered. So
Sure.
why should I really care about what
That's a whole other mansion. Yeah. There's actually a gated community dedicated to the explicit stuff, I'm sure, right?
thing? The thing that scares me about dying is not dying in
they bought an entire gated community, and all the cutout waifus are like on the street walking dogs and stuff.
itself because it's inevitable. It's not living the best life that I can while I'm here.
Because I feel like that's the only thing you can do something about. My goal is to live life to its fullest, in order so that I have no fear of death.
I Am
What
Legend
you ask
style,
for.
yeah.
And to do this means more than anything, I just have to be myself, and not care about the people that make fun of me. My entire existence is me just saying, screw whatever I have to do to seem normal. No
Why
one
not?
even cares anyways.
Sure.
People will maybe chuckle at you for a second, and then they will never think about
Do you think they lay on the floor and just imagine all the waifus just stomping on them? Just
you again. And the reason this is because you're irrelevant to their goals and problems in life. And you being weird is not one of those problems that they're stressing about and thinking about
That's true. The waifus will never judge you.
daily. I think one of the greatest feelings in the world is when you live true to yourself. I don't think it's possible for everyone to understand you, so you shouldn't bother trying to not be misunderstood, and should just say screw the haters and live your best life.
I am weirdly inspired by this in some ways. Oh, good. Now I'm getting recommended Hatsune Miku Expo videos. Fantastic. I've already watched them. Don't worry. One more, at least. I made the national anthem for your average Genshin player. Cringe warning. Okay. Made 40 cutouts of Markiplier in my living room. That's not that weird. Okay. Oh, yeah, 70-foot cutout for Sam the Samsung girl. There you go. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why Samsung would ever think that wouldn't immediately get out of hand. Unless that was just the plan all along, but then they kind of just they realized that they can't actually do that. Check out some of this one. And then
Today I'm going to tell
I think I'll have a good understanding of this whole situation and can move on from it.
you about the story on how Sayaka Maizono became my obsession. A while ago, I made a video titled The Church of Maizono.
I like to imagine the waifus move around like Toy Story, and when he comes back, they all freeze. Wow. Well, okay. That brings up an interesting point. This place has got to be scary at night, huh? And also, like, what do you do if, like, kind of like what you said, like, what, like, what if you go down for a glass of water at night and, like, you don't remember leaving one of them in the kitchen, but now there is one?
In a nutshell, I made this video where I showcase my obsession with a character from an anime called Danganronpa. I shared this obsession with the world by showing everything I had made of Sayaka Maizono. From me making an army of cutouts of her in my living room,
I think you mean
to me
coldest water bottle. Use code WiLLo.
Covering my entire upstairs
if that
with
still
pictures
works,
of
I
her,
don't know.
and even declaring my house a church for Maizono in which I worshipped her,
Right.
which in turn led to the video going viral. However, the biggest question people had was whether this was some form of joke, with them questioning whether it was satire.
You know, at first I thought this was a joke.
Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, you know whose opinion I really fucking cherish for how society should be? Fucking Asmongold. Yep.
If it still is a joke, they really put a lot of work into it.
Yep, I definitely need to hear what Asmongold has to think about this.
Therefore, today I'm going to answer this and discuss what started it all and why I made this video in the first place. It all began back in 2021. One day while browsing TikTok, I came across a video that would change my life. The video in question depicted a guy showing how obsessed and down bad he was for the character Peak from Attack on Titan.
Okay.
Needless to say. Watching this, though, gave me an idea. I would make a video similar to this, but with my favorite character, Sayaka Maizono, which in turn would lead to my quote-unquote Maizono obsession for the next
I have to give an amount of respect for just being who you are
2 years.
in public.
My motivation to make this video stemmed from me struggling to make videos gain traction, as it was early on when I started making content. And the way that I had thought about it is that I had already made 2 giant cutouts of Sayaka that were 12 and 41 feet tall respectively, so I wouldn't need to do much more work to make it seem like I was a crazy anime-obsessed
See, okay.
neckbeard.
Oh, okay, so you're better than this, is your opinion.
As I already was, and had no bits.
Oh.
But to ensure the video's success, I went the
No,
extra
okay.
mile and added some goofy things.
I take it
put
back.
a Maizono sticker on my drone, Amazon Echo, alongside changing my title on my LinkedIn profile to say that I worked at the Sayaka Maizono construction company. By this point, I had worked on the video for about 3 months, and it was now time to post. And almost immediately after posting it, no one cared about the video. But then 3 months later, I wake up to see I was tagged in a subreddit I'd never heard of called r/cringetopia. I've been posted
That
to a
sounds
subreddit
mean.
which basically is meant to laugh at people for being cringe, and after checking, I realized the video had not only been posted there, but to multiple subreddits alongside TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter.
Okay.
And soon it became my most viewed video at the time. Now, I was both happy and disappointed. Happy my efforts didn't go to waste, but also disappointed because it was being reposted without any lead back to me. But it was
Damn.
at this moment I realized how many people like the Maizono bit and the power of cringe. So I decided rather than scrapping it and take the loss, instead I would double down and make a sequel and do everything right this time.
Shirtless,
I'd add a
too.
watermark, I was going to make the video longer and higher budget, and this would be the beginning of me making the Church of Maizono. The plan for the video was insane. To make it, I upgraded from having 1 printer to 10, which were also Maizono themed, of course.
Of course.
This was in order so I could do a huge to-do list for the video, which included making
Big ass
300
sword.
Maizono cutouts, a planned 120-foot tall cutout of Maizono,
Mm-hmm.
a brand new do-it-yourself audience stand made out of cardboard. The entire upstairs of my house would be covered head to toe with pages of Maizono, and there would be at least 10 separate locations
Oh, at the beach.
covered head to toe with pages of Maizono, and there would be
That's an interest. And you even brought the swimsuit one to the beach, I see.
at least 10
Who took the picture? Why are you gonna argue at In-N-Out in a suit? Please, not in public, dear.
separate locations I
Embarrassing.
would film at, alongside a bunch of other miscellaneous stuff. Needless to say, the video was going to be crazy, so I started working on the video and then started posting updates to Reddit and other platforms as a series. As I found out, just posting the updates to making this video were getting more traction and views than many of the reposts of the original video. And after a while, memes and artwork started being made about it. This one was one of my favorites. It was a drawing made of Sayaka reacting to the Sayaka house.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you think she would be impressed by the house devoted to her?
This one was one of my favorites. It was a drawing made of Sayaka reacting to the Sayaka house. I later put that in my house because I wanted to make it even more meta. And it was at this point people just started calling me the Sayaka guy whenever I was recognized online or at IRL conventions. I was pretty grateful by the reception. I wasn't expecting any of this to happen, so it was quite a shocker from just having a small TikTok following. And from this point on, I was just really curious.
You know what's crazy about this? I feel like he doesn't even fuck with Sayaka like that. The choice seems arbitrary. What does he like about Sayaka? He hasn't said. True.
Where this would lead me and continue down the path to finish the sequel, which is when everything went wrong.
Maybe that's its own video. What went wrong?
Now, during this time, I had not only been making Maizono stuff, but other things such as making HoloLive cutouts, YouTubers, streamers, and moved into a
Take that down.
different place. And because of this, I put the Maizono project on hiatus for a while.
Take that one
everything
down.
I had made for the video in the garage. So one day, when I took these things out
Tear that
to
down
work on them,
now.
I had a soul-crushing revelation. The giant 120-foot tall cutout of Maizono had become wrinkled beyond repair, and all the cardboard bleachers had collapsed on themselves, making them useless, which I couldn't
Oh no, this is the beginning of the end.
fix without having to remake it all. 2 out of the 3 biggest parts of the video had become butchered. Only 60 life-size cutouts made it to the final video out of the 200 cutouts I had already made and the 300 I was planning, as they were going to
Christ.
stand on the bleachers, and was pretty discouraged once I realized I wouldn't be able to get the shot I was looking for. And only 1/3 of the giant cutout was finished, which was also wrinkled, forcing me to essentially scrap it all. If I released the video now, the video
That's
wasn't
crazy.
going to do well. Because of that, for a few months, I didn't work on the video, deciding if I should cancel it, but ultimately decided while what I had filmed was only a fraction of what the end product was going to be, it was still impressive enough to be used for the video.
Danganronpa on Wii?
But in order to compensate, I was going to add a bunch of things that weren't planned, and by the end of it, I had so many Maizono-related things which were so different from one another, I didn't know how to connect it all to make a video that had a narrative.
Sure.
Which I thought was
Understandable
needed, or else
conflict.
the video wasn't going to do well. When I was making all of this, I was just thinking of things that were funny to me and making them. So by the end, I had to figure out how
this is funny to you? Oh, this is funny?
this would all fit together into some form of story.
This is
so
serious.
I brainstormed and decided that the reason why I had all of these things is because I started a church for Maizono. I got the idea from these types of subreddits that exist that thirst over anime characters.
Okay.
You got the Church of Tifa, the Church of Pyra, the Church of Chun-Li, etc. So when I
Sure.
was thinking of doing the same thing with Maizono, I thought it would be funny if I turned it into an actual place. And now I had a reason for all the Maizono stuff that I own.
I have a request for the next one. Please make a Wilhelmina cutout. I can provide.
The 60
I
choirs
can provide
in my
the
living
artwork
room,
if you
well,
need.
that would be the choir for the church. The pages on my wall would be like the paintings on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel.
Exactly like that. Exactly like that. You're right.
The Maizono army would be to prevent people from stealing holy artifacts from the church, and the giant cutouts I had made would be like giant monuments that I built. I think the Maizono video turned out a
Might
lot
be
more
too thick. That's
creative
true. You might need you might need a wider printer.
and interesting
It's true.
because I had this narrative rather than I was just a crazy Sayaka Maizono fan who had all of this weird stuff for no reason. But now it was time to finally post the video. By this point, it was pushing nearly 2 years since I set out
What?
to make the sequel, and I knew if I wasn't going to post
2 years?
That now I was never going to. And thus I compiled every post I had made in the last 2 years and created the video. Everything had come down to this. The file name for the video was The Tsar Bomba of Cringe. And with that, I released the video on April 17th, 2023. And unlike last time, the shockwaves were instant.
Wow.
The video had been reposted across all social media, as well as being
Grease money
translated
going
into
crazy.
different languages, which then led to streamers and YouTubers to make videos about it, to the point where
I'm sorry.
it was featured in online news and being played
I'm ashamed.
on TV in some places, which got the attention of both the English voice actor and Japanese voice
Oh, no. No, that's too meta. No.
on TV in some places, which got the attention of both the English voice actor and Japanese voice actor of Sayaka,
I would delete my accounts at that point.
alongside the creator of Danganronpa, which then snowballed into
no.
a cosplayer named Ayame Hime to come to the church and cosplay Sayaka in the Sayaka house. And then shortly thereafter, a 30-minute
And she wasn't scared.
documentary being made about me and my art.
That was very brave of her.
While. In total, the video was being spread rapidly on the internet for about a week.
I really feel like she should never be heard from again.
Every day I was waking up to something new. And when this all happened, I wasn't expecting this again. I was more prepared this time, but I didn't think it
Great.
would do so well because of how badly I butchered the video. Overall, I think I didn't do well on making it clear that it was satire and was meant to shock people. It was my intention to make the line a little blurry on whether it was satire, as that's what made the first video do so well, but not to the extent where the majority of people were unsure. After the video, it was crazy because I had a bunch of people asking whether I had started the church to
They have a tax exemption because it's a church.
evade taxes by establishing my house as a church, alongside a bunch of people asking whether the church was real. It then escalated even further when my personal information
Do you think that he's concerned about money?
got
Really?
leaked in
Really? You think that's a concern?
order to find more answers about who I was, most notably when the secret about my dad had been shared. When this came out, it was like dropping a nuke on a forest that was already on fire, and started being shared
Oh.
again, but additionally with this bit of trivia, which then led a few AI-generated articles to be made about me and my family. According to one of the articles, I started an origami YouTube channel at the age of 10 that now has 2 million subscribers.
Wow.
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
But those few articles would quickly turn into many, that by the end of it, my dad's name was now Michael, and
Okay, you know what? Good sense of humor here, I
was
gotta
an
say.
engineer. Now I was an astrophysicist from Harvard University, as well as having degrees from MIT and Brown University. I was an Italian native
They doxed him for making the church a saga. Yeah, they hated him for he told the truth.
and was
Just like Jesus.
quote-unquote a fusion of diverse cultures with ties stretching from Pyongyang, North Korea, and Somalia. So overall, it was a
Why
train
not?
wreck, which is
What's
still
up,
going
Dash?
to this day with AI articles popping up here and there. I find it all really comical just because of how ridiculous it is, and I'm sure most people do as well. But in hindsight, I think because the line was more blurry than intended on whether it was real, it was kind of a positive, as it made it do a lot better, which in
Oh
turn
yeah, absolutely. They'll kill it on the algorithm.
led to a lot of opportunities and learned a lot through the whole experience. But that basically summarizes the entire Maizono saga.
Okay,
and
you know what? I came back around. I respect this immensely.
my Maizono arc. You may be thinking, was it
Now
all
that
for
I
views?
understand the
And the
situation.
answer to this is actually no. Because while it is probably true, I wouldn't have done any of this if people hadn't expressed any interest in my Maizono antics. I really could have done this with any anime character that was more popular and had a larger community when
True.
I decided to make the sequel, and did someone or anything that I thought may have gone more viral. But I
What is this person from? What is this waifu Sayaka Maizono from?
chose Maizono, a character that basically no one knows of. The
Danganronpa?
type of content that I like to make is the type that could have only possibly come from me. Content
Oh, wow.
that has a lot of integrity towards what I want to make that's never been seen before because it's so
Fucking Charlie in the
has a
corner
lot of
there.
integrity towards what I want to
Hopefully,
make.
I pray that's fucking life size.
Seen before because it's so uniquely me. But overall, I'm really happy I went down this path. To me, it was quite wholesome, despite how shocking and strange what it was I was making. There was always a group of people that were supportive. What I realized
I hope that was accurate to
from
say.
this is, no matter how eccentric you are, and how many people are going to make fun and ridicule you, there's probably a corner of the internet
Okay, now this is heartwarming. All the people in front of the
that will
thing.
also appreciate you, no matter how niche or
Yeah, I am
weird it is.
inspired as well.
But with the Maizono arc ending, all I want to say is I appreciate everyone who has shown interest, and I hope you stick around. But that will be all. Goodbye.
Excellent, excellent. I really came back around, and now I really appreciate this. I still can't believe you haven't actually played the games and just watched the Danganronpa 1 anime adaptation. One day, I think in the future, I'll play it on stream to atone for my sins. That is fucking insane. Go through all this trouble and not even consume all of the legitimate media surrounding the character. That's wild. Like saying you're a Persona fan, but you've only watched anime. That's fucking. You would assume the first step would be to consume all legitimate media of the character, right? Even more respect now, honestly. That's good shit. Tobin Jacobs, everybody. What was the latest post? A month ago? OCD has taken over my life, but I'm back now. Okay. A vlog made with love. It seems like well, at least on here they seem to post rarely. I bet there's a much bigger TikTok. But honestly, maybe it's the same amount of posts. Oh wow. Okay, anyway, we I think we have to wrap up this section of the stream here. You know, that turned out a lot better than I thought it would. I thought it was just gonna be like someone who's like, yeah, I just felt like printing out a bunch of waifus and making stuff. But like there was like a whole storyline there. And honestly, I respect it.